I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
You're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio. It's 3 p.m. on a Wednesday day.
That didn't go.
Right? And you know what that means? It's time for us to make fun of trmorephotos.com. Yeah! On Aperture and Shutter Speed. Montgomery County's film and photography show. We're having a lot of fun here. We have, I guess we have two guests, right? I guess, Ansel, are you really a guest now? Are you just
He's a permanent fixture.
He's a live-in,
You just
right?
can't get rid of me.
You just can't. I don't want to get rid of you, Ansel. But no.
He has good hair too.
Yeah, but
It's good hair. He's a lot of it.
we're here hanging out at the Lone Star Internet Radio Studios in downtown Conroe, talking about branding. Today, this month's whole topic is about the other side of the photography and videography business. So we're really trying to get to know people who are purchasing our products and also how they think of their experiences. Because last week was really cool because Kim called in and she decided she used trmorephotos.com for her wedding photography, but she decided to go her own route. Which, I mean, it wasn't. You weren't upset by it because it's one less thing for you to deal with.
Yeah,
but
my schedule.
She printed her own album,
Right.
Because a lot of people who like having weddings like having wedding albums, and which is fair. But today we have it's Anthony King, but
Tony.
I know because I just know because the Anthony King was the first one I was told your name, so that's what stuck.
It's so professional.
So,
Or
but
King Anthony.
He is a returning
Yes.
King Anthony
Yes.
King Anthony is a returning guest.
Dun,
You were
dun,
here in
dun.
June, not June. This is June, last month.
Yes.
And we're talking about branding, and he's going to be giving us he's the middleman, I guess, for when he deals with people and then how to help brand. And so I know him and Ansel have a lot to talk about, but maybe not on the air. But Ansel's a smart guy, so he knows what's up. He probably doesn't even want to be here. He's like, I got more stuff to do that's better than spend time with trmorephotos.com.
Bunch of losers.
Bunch of losers.
Such a great name, Ansel.
That's right, he does. I'm telling you.
And we have an intern here that you really need to mention, I think.
We have several interns here,
Okay,
actually.
well, I think you need to bring that
Andrew's
up.
over here. Andrew, I mean,
Yo, Andrew, hey, baby.
why are you talking to me? You don't have a mic.
Well, I just want to say, hey.
All right. Hey, Andrew. Hey. Hey, Nikki. She's in the back. Hey.
Hey, Nikki.
Hey,
Who else
Nikki.
is? Who else is in this small
But their
building?
mom and dad will say, oh, your name was mentioned on the air. You're
Yeah,
famous.
But trademark that name. No.
Right.
But yeah, so that's our topic today. So we're gonna kind of ask questions about branding, especially dealing with customers, trying to get them the right brand or right color. I guess color is really it. And then Ansel is gonna give us an update about his stuff because everyone likes to talk about Ansel, right? Is that okay, Ansel? You give us an update?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. But if you let's kind of go over right now though. It's summertime. It's the first week of summer officially by the school standards. And one thing I always liked about this atmosphere is when you're taking portrait photography, going around, people seem to be a little bit happier because they're out of school and they're with their kids. And well, actually, some of them aren't very happy about that. And so it's a really great opportunity to go to high populated areas and getting some good photos, getting a lot of expressions, getting a lot of excitement. One thing I will say is be careful if you're going to parks, because if you're a dude taking pictures, people assume you're doing something wrong because all men are evil.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I said, I just wanted to give everyone a heads up. Like Carl Barton Junior Park over here, it's great for some they have some woods, they have some open areas, especially for sports. They have a soccer field and baseball field there, and pretty much everything's accessible where you can get pretty close to take your sports photography, like we talked about last month, and then also the portrait photography for the the parks and people running around, things like that. So I give everyone a heads up. So how's everyone doing today?
Excellent.
Oh my god. Oh my god. But okay, Tom, you go first. Tom, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay, that's good. All right, next. Ansel, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic.
Okay.
Is this roll call?
Oh
I'm
man,
It's really obnoxious. Can we get on with the
he
show,
stole
please?
my. Oh man, I wanted to say fantastic, awesome.
Okay,
There we go.
everyone's smiling, which is good. I mean, the weather's beautiful, so you got some. I know I saw you with your camera, Ansel. You shooting this morning?
I was in downtown Houston this morning.
Yeah.
Came over here. Didn't really shoot in downtown Conroe yet, but I might after the show.
I mean, I'm trying to think what's going on there. I don't think there's anything going on this weekend downtown.
I kind of want to go to Galveston. I've been seeing a lot of pictures of people, in Galveston. It's really crowded down there lately. Last weekend, I saw a ton of people, like people that don't even know each other on Facebook, and people I follow, and they're all in Galveston. And so I kind of want to go and take pictures down there.
I've been down there several times. It's my favorite thing down there is they have a driftwood collection.
Ooh.
And so that's always really cool to get some neat shots, especially with all the seaweed. Like you can get some interesting little
Careful in the
deals.
water, though. I saw there was a girl that got bit by a shark there last weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
She was okay, though. Luckily.
Well, see, I'm new. I'm from D.C., so
okay.
You know,
You know where
it's just,
Galveston is?
south of Houston.
Yes, it
That's
is.
it.
100
Just get on 45.
miles.
You literally get on 45 and don't get off, and it'll
You run
you'll
right
tail
into the
into
water.
it.
Now, I've been told about the waters. It's not as clear as you would love it to be.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
And it's
Brown
pretty
beauty.
warm.
I think
and
it's perfect.
it's like going and having a bath a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice. How do you not like that? What's wrong with it? You talking
Like,
about
kinda
what are you
stinky.
used to?
Okay, so
In DC.
we have
Cold water.
We have
Yeah.
Anacostia, right? And so along the Jefferson Memorial, it's just brown. It's just no other way. It's muddy. It's dirty. It's tires floating by, and you don't
No
want to jump
bodies.
in there. And so the people that I know around here, well, Galveston is great, but it's brown. And I'm like, okay, So do I need to go? I guess towards New Orleans to get a little bit clear.
Corpus Christi is the one that I guess is the second closest, like a white sand kind of place. If it's all about the sand.
That's it.
Or if you want seaweed's here.
Seaweed.
It's awesome. By the,
Oh,
you
now
get
I
it by
saw-
the ton.
Now I saw the seaweed backup. I think it was in the paper.
Yeah,
It
2
was-
weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
That's
Good. I'm telling you, good photos. Everyone's kind of looking at me like, what's next?
What's
All right.
next?
What do you want it to be
Let's
next?
talk about next week. Our
Oh, yeah,
guest
that's good.
coming in next week. That will be Dr. Shannon Buchanan, and
Yeah.
she's awesome. I'm excited about having her in because she's a real mover and shaker and is very successful, and she's got enough degrees to paper her wall.
Oh, wow.
And I asked her a month or so ago, what does it feel like every time you walk in a room? You're the smartest person in the room. She's very, very humble, and you would never know it. You would think she just answers the phone, or, you know, she's just a real stand-up gal that's real easy to talk to and a lot of fun to be around. So I'm looking forward to having her in.
And her name rhymes.
Yeah,
Shannon
Buchanan. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Shannon Buchanan.
Yeah, because she used you for her website. So
Yes.
that's, like I said, our topic this week is the other side, using assets and using the photography and videography for that kind of stuff. I know one thing we can probably get into, and we can talk a little bit about, and it's not really Ansel, because Ansel's never really done video before, but video really is taking over for the short 30-second ads, and then especially the localized ads like Google AdWords is allowed to do now, and other internet distributing and advertising agencies where you can make a 30-second ad, and if I'm watching YouTube over there in the Woodlands, I can see your ad for Minuteman Press in Conroe.
Yeah.
Because that's how localized you can get with these advertisements. So I think we could talk a little bit about that as the benefit of that, and using video, high quality video for making your company seem bigger. Because one thing I never really understood are the car dealerships. Like, there's some car dealerships that they have two options. They either make it as cheesy as possible,
Exactly.
and then you remember it, or they make it as smooth as possible that you're like, is this really like down the street? Like because probably one of the most, I even forgot it, but it was so smooth, but it was down in Sugarland. I'm like, why would he advertise up here in Montgomery County for me to go down to Sugarland? But I was like, but the ad's almost as good enough to convince people to go down there, because really people do go buy cars. If I told somebody you can save $10,000 on a car,
they'll
go to El Paso.
Oh, absolutely.
They go to El Paso.
Absolutely.
Even that's like that's further than driving across the United States. It feels like, if you've ever driven to El Paso, but no. So using that advance, like, because Tom, you do videos and you've done videos for people, and 30-second to a minute ad. Really making it a high quality product is important, and then also where you're going to put that ad.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
And will it fit in what market? Is it just really shot for the internet, or can it also be used on a cable station? So how versatile is it? is the quality high enough to take it into the cable environment.
Yeah.
So,
And then when you look on the back end, on the website, you get into SEO. And so when you do search engines, it's funny because now video is almost pushing more than the impressions that you have on your website. So if you have your name and you have certain key words for your...
Yeah, I mean, like, for example, Lone Star, we produce so much content a day that it really, that's what's driving our website traffic is the content instead of the website itself. It's just every day we're publishing something new, and more people are just, it just comes up because if they type in Montgomery County, it's almost like we're number 20 or something like that, just because every day we're adding stuff for Montgomery County.
Absolutely.
But for the video part, Tom, when people come to you and you do have a professional setup, like it's so funny because you look at what's his name, Mattress Mac. I feel like Mattress Mac's commercials are just done on an iPhone. Like he sits there and just recites that stuff all day. So you push on like, all right, sell me, you got 30 seconds, and he'll do it, and then you can do it like 2 takes and then put it on because, I mean, really it's just him talking. That's really what matters in the ad. But when you're doing an ad, what do you suggest?
well, I just want a lot of action, a lot of stimulation, because people want to be entertained and they also want to be informed, and it's really fun to make it funny if you possibly can.
Is that why all
and
your
have a lot
stuff
of
ends up
color.
on the beaches, like with girls in bikinis? Is that why you do that?
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
we're gonna shoot this deodorant commercial's got to be on a beach. It's hot. We gotta get these ladies. It's hot. And no, I'm just kidding.
That's fun.
Yeah, that too. And it just, today everybody wants to be entertained. And I think I'm amazed that Mattress Mac had the results he did, but he hit people overhead with it over and over, that it worked, and
Saves
it was
you money.
very successful.
And also Hilton Furniture. It's like these furniture people have the most ridiculous concepts. You know what I'm talking about? Hilton Furniture, the guy with the chainsaw, and he literally cuts prices and he actually chainsaw pieces of furniture and stuff like
Oh,
that.
wow.
It's a shock factor
Wow,
that
shock
he's
factor.
going for.
Wow, that blood and gore.
Oh yeah,
thing
you're
going
new.
on.
It's
Yes,
fine. I keep thinking the king is new.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
but I'm like,
yeah,
why is he the king of this area? What's going on?
Yeah, what's up with that? I need to know my territory.
Yeah, but no, video. It's funny because a lot of people are asking more and more about that because more people are accessing stuff, especially with Lone Star and the way we do advertising is how to create a good ad, and especially if you have no idea what you're doing, who do you need to go to? How can you tell? What are the tells for a good ad and a bad ad?
Oh, that's good.
And it really is a new frontier for people because a lot of people, when I tell them, oh, you can make an ad and you can target a certain area, and they're like, what do you mean? I was like, literally, if I'm a kid and I just got out of school and I have an arcade store and you start adding, you do it on YouTube, and you look at they can tell you how many kids that age access YouTube in that area, and then they get to see your ad.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's a powerful tool. Yeah, there's a lot of creepy stuff you can do on the internet, and
It's getting weirder too.
well, no, especially I know for me, I know when this Ansel will like this. When I was wanting to go shoot in Galveston, I was trying to look where would be a good place, like a good walkabouts, and especially by the seawall, because a lot of people don't realize the seawall isn't the main attraction to me in Galveston. If you keep going down by the Strand and you go a little bit north of the Strand, there's a lot of cool houses, a lot of cool artwork. Basically, it's old Galveston. They've been living there for 50 plus years, and it's the hippies.
Oh,
And the
wow.
hippies have a lot of cool art.
Yes.
And they do driftwood art, and that's what I'm saying. There's just a lot of neat stuff, neat homes. And I use Google Maps just because you can go on Street View, and I'm like,
Just
well,
drive.
I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
what's?
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm driving on the computer.
Yeah,
Like, oh, that looks
absolutely.
really cool. I can go walk that. Yeah, that looks. And especially when you travel, that'd be a good place to start where you want to go shoot. And because the Google Maps, it really does help you. The more prepared you are, the shorter time you have to worry about stuff. You can take care of it. But you know what? We do have to take a break. We do.
Wow, that was quick.
So what are we going to talk about when we come back?
Colors.
Colors.
Your favorite
That's
topic.
It. Yeah.
Colors,
Let's do
colors.
Okay, but you're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed, sitting here with the 3 quietest people possible, and me, the guy who's just.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take Tony's nickname, King. I'm taking it. over
Oh,
the break.
you can't.
I'm
My
taking
dad would be upset.
I'm taking it. But you're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed. We'll be right back after these messages.
He drinks a whiskey drink, he drinks a vodka drink, he drinks a lager drink.
Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages. from karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, we strive to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
Have you ever wandered around a parking lot trying to look like you actually know where you parked? Then you'll love the Mark and Cindy Show. If buying toilet paper with aloe vera is the most exciting thing you're going to do today, then you'll love the Mark and Cindy Show. Even if you haven't tweeted, you'll still love the Mark and Cindy Show.
How about twerking?
Ew, that was one step over the line, Mark.
Well, you said toilet paper.
Look, we want listeners to tune in to the Mark and Cindy Show at 10 o'clock every weekday morning here on Lone Star Internet Radio.
The Mark and Cindy Show, it's like visiting with your best friends for coffee, except we will never stiff you with a check.
And one of us always knows what she's talking about.
Well, okay, but it's still called the Mark and Cindy Show. You know that.
We'll see. The Mark and Cindy Show. Tune in to Lone Star Radio every weekday morning at 10 o'clock.
Hi, this is Judy Deo, Executive Director of Tamagua Healthcare Ministries. Tamagua is a Christian ministry that, by the grace of God and in response to the love of Jesus, provides quality health care, offers hope, and restores dignity to uninsured, low-income families and individuals in Northwest Harris County and Montgomery and Waller counties. As a primary care safety net clinic, we provide for the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs of our patients, and we do it only with the financial support of the community in which we serve. Tamagua receives no government funding. To find out how you can help or to make a donation, visit our website at www.tamagua.org. Tamagua is spelled Tomagwa. Thank you, and God bless you.
You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed. I'm Tom Moore with TR Moore Photos. I'm here with Dick Schissler, and I'm also here with my buddy Ansel A. And Mr. King, that's Tony King with Minuteman Press 336 and I-45. And we're going to talk about colors and what colors means to a business. The color that fits your business model. And for instance, a red and orange might be a good color for Mexican food or a Mexican food restaurant, or blue might be a good color for a marina, or
absolutely.
Black and white, the classic color, which no one has problems with, black and white.
Love
So, so dignified, Ansel A.
Ansel
Black
A.
and white.
Black and white.
I try.
And everybody knows what color pink would work with, of course.
Yeah, pink is awesome. But the funny thing is, I think the difference with pink in popular culture is that men start wearing more pink after the 90s, I think. And it became cool, especially in the 80s. Lord. We would just stuck it out on our chest. Okay, yeah, I wear pink and I'm masculine. What? And so, your color, it just says so much about you. From a business end and a personal end. And so it just fits your personality. If you're like a dry, drab type of person, well, I probably won't see anything really poppy and catchy like a orange or yellow or a lime green. You're going to project that subconsciously project it in that dark, gray, dry type of look. It's that dirty blue jean type of look. That's what you're projecting, and that's what you want people to bring back to think about you when they're coming in contact with you. Conversely, when you get into business, well, business reflects its buyers. And so, you don't want to project something that the audience that you're trying to go after isn't trying to purchase or they're not stimulated by. And so, obviously, if you're marketing something for kids or for little girls, well, it's not going to be all dark.
Right.
It's going to be
a lot of color,
playful, pastel-y, high pink, that type of thing. And so a lot of people run into a lot of trouble because they try to put their personal color projection onto, we see that a lot at Minuteman Press, their personal color projection into their business, and
it doesn't work.
Does not work.
So people who come in and say, well, I really like this color, and I really don't care if my audience likes it or not, I like it.
Right.
So they're really starting from a bad position because it might take them a few years, but they're going to have to figure out that that's just not working.
Is that what you did, Tom?
Yeah, I did that. I've done that so many times. I finally figured it out, and that was before I met Tony.
Oh, man.
So I had to go from black and white to color in all colors,
Yeah.
So I don't have a preference.
Well,
I just use
especially
all colors.
you love action shots, right? And
Absolutely.
So, the color reflects that, and so when you get into action shots, you got to have high contrast so they can see the speed in the picture that you're taking, and so subconsciously you're looking for certain colors and certain balances that's going to give that projection off, and so. Color gone bad in branding at our store. A gentleman wanted like a high green, and so we had in it. It was a business, like a law firm type of business, and so basically we had to coach him into seeing that his competitors, well, they look a certain way, they feel a certain way. So what makes a business feel like a business type,
a serious type business of law.
So,
I would think black and white myself.
Yeah, black and white, grays, navy blue, burgundy, certain golds, certain metallic colors. That's big business. Not high lime green.
Right.
And
something that would attract a child.
Right. So when you have the wrong color, you have to educate even more. Your product could be awesome and your information could be awesome, but that first initial projection that you're trying to project to that person you're selling to or trying to get information to, well, if they're not attracted to that color, attracted to that feel, then they're going to walk away. And so the first thing you got to do is drop the pride and say, well, I want to fit in, but I do want to be different, but I really want to fit in.
Right. So you're going to have to put your ego aside and you're going to have to work with what the market is driving. So just like when I shot Dr. Buchanan's photos, everyone was dressed in blue.
Right.
So it had a blue theme with a white background, which gave a very clean look.
Yes.
And also if you're shooting food photography, you want a really nice, stark white background. Just like we were talking about, white has a lot of different appeals, and you can have an off-white, you can have a stark white, just a little bit of hint of color will change white to an off-white, and it does make a difference. It does give it a cool spin.
And so Ross at the store, if you guys need some printing, some graphics, come down to Minuteman Press. West Loop 336. Now Ross is awesome with that. People come in and you want your resume on linen paper, and you want it to be on that eggshell white type of color. Well, that projects a certain familiarity to people who are looking at resumes, and so
we've all seen American Psycho. We know how important that eggshell white is.
Absolutely.
We all know how important that is.
Absolutely. Man, it's funny when I used to do photography way back in the day, and I should think black and white as photography when I see black and white, but I think of Alfred Hitchcock every time I see black and white of anything, and that dana, and it's just that classic look, but then you get into different genres of how you can use it. And so It's a lot of education because people get stuck.
What is also you do it in the photography and film world. You look at photography and what their work is, what they do. You can kind of see what kind of colors they are really good at, and you also see what they're flat at. And it's really important too when you're searching for a photographer. What kind of person is he going to be, and especially what kind of photos you want from it. Because I would use you two. Like if I wanted a picture of my, I just needed one picture. That's all I wanted. I would probably choose Ansel, just because he's really good at getting that one picture. But if I needed somebody getting a large scale, like what's going on, I need this whole place covered.
Right.
Tom knows what's going on. He's moving around. And he also might have more experience with that because you do more weddings. You deal with a lot more bigger area. But I think Ansel, his photos, he captures the essence of what's going on in one photo.
Right. I mean, Ansel, he tries to knock you. Some of the stuff that he brought in, wow, he knocks you off your socks with creativity, with passion. You can see it project through. It's like you're almost looking for that one moment to take that shot. And
He's
that's
a soul stealer.
a soul. Oh wow.
Well, thank you.
And Tom's a soul giver.
Is that like a grave digger? A soul stealer?
You ever heard about that tribe? I don't know exactly where it is, but they believe when the camera takes
It
pictures,
steals your soul.
Oh wow.
Wow, we're getting into some
Amish people.
deep stuff now.
Anybody?
Silence.
Well, I kind of wanted to talk to you
Absolutely.
about font and how that
Ooh.
is different, because we're talking about colors and we're talking about different photographers and how you want to project yourself. And
Yes.
if you're doing kids, and I see it all the time on Facebook, people will go and in different groups and they'll say, let me take pictures of your kids and
Yes.
and your all this kind of stuff. And usually it's women,
Yep.
and they have they have cursive and the light greens and all that stuff. And then you go on a different website or you go somewhere and look at a blog by an art photographer or an artist or anything else, and it's usually like a Helvetica. It's
There you go.
black,
There you
and
go. There you
everything's
go.
really
The
simple,
industrial,
minimalistic. But yeah, I mean, going back to the women who do this kind of they like doing kids and all that, and that's fine. But it's completely different. It's colorful.
Right.
It has that the weird, goofy font that no one can read.
Crayola. Oh, and that's where people get in trouble too. I mean, when you're setting up your photography, you want to have the end result in mind. And so if it's fine art photography like you have, you're not necessarily thinking about fonts. But then when you get into commercialism like you have with Tom, he's thinking about that all the time. How are you going to produce this? And I don't think photographers think about fonts enough. And you have your sans serifs, your serifs, you have your block styles, you have your classic styles, decorative styles. And so it all calls to a certain appeal and a certain audience. And so most contemporary artists would have a Century Gothic, or they would have Arial, but it's just real nice new Arial that's like thin and it looks nice and swanky.
Right.
And if you want to be taken serious, I'm going to use a swanky Arial, or I'm going to make the concept look nice and sleek. And so it just really calls to what you want the audience to come back and project you as communicating to them.
Sure.
Yeah, and if it gets too fancy and you can't read it,
Yeah,
then
what's
you've
the
lost.
point?
Right.
What's
You've
the
lost.
point?
Well, I like it. It looks good to me. Well, nobody can read it, you ding dong.
And,
It's no good.
Oh, that's the
That
music.
doesn't work.
Oh, it's nice.
He's whying us out. He's giving us the termination
Wow.
finger. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back, and hope you can hang in there with us. We will get interesting eventually.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
Hi, I'm Tina, and I will be your host for a new program on Lone Star Internet Radio. I call it Retro Saturdays. Every Saturday at 5 p.m., I will be playing music from the 1930s to the 1970s. I will play a different genre of music every weekend of the month. You will hear big band music, jazz, 70s classic rock, and 60s oldies. Join us for Retro Saturdays at 5 p.m. every Saturday of the month. Go to irlonestar.com for more information on Retro Saturdays on Lone Star Internet Radio.
You're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio. Now for your daily weather report. Today is Wednesday, June 11th, 2014. Today's forecast will be mostly sunny with a high near 93. Later tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low around 74. South winds will be 5 to 10 miles an hour.
This weather forecast is brought to you by Donawick Public Relations. You've seen the billboards? That's right, wicked publicity. Contact them today at 832-326-1965 and visit wickedpublicity.com.
Hi, this is Erica Tullis, Executive Director of the Breast Cancer Charities of America. The Breast Cancer Charities of America is a national nonprofit organization with our headquarters in The Woodlands, Texas. We focus on non-invasive breast cancer research and helping the true patient that is going through breast cancer. Through our Help Now Fund, we help women pay the rent and utilities while going through their breast cancer treatment. It's unlike any other program that truly is out there. We are here to help the woman. Our phone number is 936-231-8460. For more information or to get involved or to even make a donation, please visit our website, www.igopink.org.
You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed here on IR Lone Star with Dick Schissler, TR Moore Photos, and Tony King. This is me,
Yeah.
Ansel A. Let's roll.
And we want to talk about billboards a little bit. I drive down the road and wait. No, he's cutting me off again. Here we go. Here we go. I knew it was.
I wanted to tell people because we're talking about color. And
I really love it when you do that.
Well, you got to squeeze it in, and especially waiting for you to talk. That's really what it is. Oh, Tom's talking, let's cut him. But no, we're talking about branding and color, and I wanted to inform people an easy way to see what colors work. There's a website called colorschemedesigner.com. Yeah, and basically what it is, there's a wheel. You can talk to me. You don't have to whisper.
Oh, with the wheel.
Yeah, with the wheel. Yeah, and they give you different things, kind of like mono, complementing colors, and basically you pick a color and it tells you what color goes with it.
Absolutely.
And it's very easy, and it's a really great springboard to start your ideas of what you're trying to achieve. And they don't use big words like corporate or anything that you're trying to get the mood for, but it kind of, you get your ideas like, oh, I really want something bright. What looks good with lime green? Because we were talking about lime green earlier today, and you can see what other different patterns work for, or different color schemes work for it. So I just wanted to say that real quick because we're moving on, okay? And it's colorschemedesigner.com.
Got a question. What if the business owner is colorblind?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've never had if they're colorblind, then you have to just do a lot of educating. And
they're going to really have to trust you as the guide.
Oh wow, that is very interesting. But then you have to pretty much share the history of why people like what a lot, and then pretty much just trust. I mean, they'll have to tail in on the recommendations of whoever suggested you to them. And then what about photography? They're colorblind, sight blind with photography, and you have to say, "Oh man, this really looks good. You should see it."
Yeah, and they're like, okay, well, I'll take your word for it, right? Okay,
that's funny.
So yeah,
funny, but.
So, and as I was rudely interrupted by my buddy over there, Dick Schissler, talking about billboards.
Wow. Oh, yeah.
And putting too much information on a billboard, driving by going 60 miles an hour.
Absolutely.
And like you were talking about positioning like a model, where do you position the person in that photograph? First of all, remember the rule of thirds. Put them to the left or to the right, but not in the center.
Not in the center,
because, we read from left to right.
Absolutely.
And if we were in China, we'd read right to left.
Yeah, that's right.
So don't put anybody in the center because we just don't look good there.
Absolutely.
Just the image just doesn't work.
And
that
then
well.
with the pictures, photographers have to think about scale. And so how do you want them to have that depth of field of how they want that image to be projected? Is it a peaking from the bottom of the picture, scaling like a triangle to the top, where they look big and look affluent, or is it converse where it's from top to bottom and it's angling down and they look it's a pious type of look. It's so many ways of positioning your artwork or your pictures onto huge boards. But then that's where you have to think about typeset. That's when, as a photographer, you almost have to kind of coach the person you're doing photography for. Well, if you take it this way and if you look left, then imagine words right beside you. And this is why we want to take the picture like that. Whereas the person you're taking a picture for is saying, no, when I vision my face on this billboard, I've always wanted to look away from the billboard and away from anything interesting.
Away from your audience.
Yeah. And
cutting out your audience.
People do it on the web too. And so obviously virtually on the web, unless you have a screen and you're printing, doing production from a screen for the web, if you're pointing to something, you're not going to see it. And so that's where maybe storyboarding and drawing and just staging your billboard, your text, and your framing around how you want to have it. Because that's a major mistake. Billboards cost a lot of money.
And once it's up,
it's up.
Yeah,
for months.
And there goes thousands. And if I'm going 60 miles an hour down 105 or 75 like I prefer to do, all I've got is a few seconds to read, and I have to get the essence of what you want to convey to me very quickly. So if you're not really smart, unless I'm going to be up and down 105 a lot, I'm never even know why it's there.
Oh, now this is now at Minuteman Press, we had a young lady there, and she wanted to get a poster done. And so the first question I asked was, how far do you need the audience that you're looking for to recognize what's on the poster? And so do you want it 10 feet away, 20 feet away, 100 yards away? That is a great deal. So she said, well, if they're driving, I want them to see it from their position where they're driving all the way 50 yards, 60 yards away, and I want it to be 3x6. Well, 3x6 is pretty small.
Very small. When
it comes to a poster or a sign. And so there was a lot of educating. Well, 3x6, you're really just talking about somebody parking right at your storefront, and then they're seeing it right there. And we run into that problem all the time because people have a different projection of what they want, versus the cost that they want to pay for it. And they try to fit something that's fantastical in their mind to something that's reality. And I know you guys face that all the time with photography. I mean, I wanted my little doggy to look this way, and I want to. I think it was John Candy movie. I think it's National Lampoons. I think or they wanted to. The guy wanted to staple antlers onto the. I think it was a mouse or something like that, and it's like, well, you can't do that. If you do that, then you're going to get the animal police people to shut you down. But people want to stick to it. It's like, well, I want it my way. Well, it's a reason why your way just won't work. And all you're trying to do as a professional is to guide them away from getting a lawsuit like we were talking about before with copyright infringement or not getting the message across.
Yeah, and getting them to trust that you know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Because you do it every day.
Absolutely.
And people come in with these crazy ideas that don't work. Absolutely. Just like you were talking about a barbershop. There's a reason why that thing outside that spins is black and white, and there's black and white checkered flooring, or
black
they
and
color
it's always blue
black
and
white, blue and white,
Let's
whatever
talk
it is.
about
But
colorblind.
there is a pattern that that certain profession follows, and if you go out of that pattern, out of that color scheme, then you're off track, and people they don't identify with it because they've seen it so many times. That's what they want to see.
Well, now we were talking about brand confusion today with this gentleman that we did his cards for, and so we refitted his brand from a Vistaprint template to now something that's more fitting of where he wants to go. And so his card looks amazing, But then when you go online, it's like it doesn't fit where he's going in the type of reaction that he's getting from his card. So now when you go online, it's like, okay, now I'm confused. Are you really good at what you're doing, or are you just getting into it and maybe not as good?
So your creativity was way beyond his ability? Is that what you're saying?
I don't like to say that. It was, yeah.
Kicked him to the curb.
But he was an awesome guy, really good guy, and took to the information well. We'll be doing more stuff for him now at Minuteman Press and developing his website, things of that nature. He's talking to us about it, and so he gets it. Some people don't get it, and it's like, well, your business card and your letterhead and all of that should look the same. So when they go online, they're not confused, and you only have 3 to 4 seconds when people get online and say, well, maybe this isn't the right place, and then you lose a sale and you lose a referral and you lose their contact information.
I've been guilty of that.
Oh, wow.
It happens. It happens.
I wanted to let you know, Tom,
Yes,
that
please.
on this colorschemedesigner.com, there's a colorblind option.
Is it really?
Just to let you know.
Well,
so
how
if
does
you need
that
to
how
figure
does
it
that
out-
work? How do they help you if you're colorblind?
Well, it changes the colors.
Well, if you don't see.
Well,
If
that's
you
what
don't
I'm
see
saying.
color,
It
how does it work?
substitutes. It substitutes like
reverses
if you choose a purple and then you go colorblind, you choose what there's like several different ways people are colorblind. You click on it and it'll show you what they're seeing.
Wow, that is wow. So is it different degrees of color blindness?
Yeah,
Wow.
So some people can't see any color. I mean,
they're blind.
they're blind.
Some
to
people
it.
are blind, Tom. They can't see
Truly
anything.
blind.
They
I mean,
can't see.
all right. I fell into that one. It's okay.
I'll
live with that.
That was pretty funny. I wish I could really laugh loud, but that was pretty good.
You can laugh at me. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. See, I'm above all that. I'm above the fray. I walk above the fray.
He's a strong man.
He gets
That's
knocked
it.
down, but he gets back up again,
Back up.
right?
Over and over. over and over.
You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed on Lone Star Internet Radio. We're going to take our one last break, and when we come back, we're going to be closing out the segment talking about, what do you guys want to talk about?
I would love to talk. I love to talk about Ansel,
Ansel.
Everybody does.
I like talking about Ansel, too.
What do you do?
especially from the
Such a weirdo.
I love it. You're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio, Aperture and Shutter Speed. Montgomery County's photography and film show.
One thing about you, Dick, you don't care what people think about you at all. Do
He
you?
does not.
He doesn't care. He'll just say
doesn't.
anything.
It's about what's in
I don't
my
care what they
heart.
say about you,
Anything.
Dick. I still like you.
Somebody has to care about what people think about Dick, so I will care about what people think. So
I care.
I'm going to
I care.
have to start giving him some really good advice.
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
God.
yes.
But he won't listen.
Oh,
See,
wow.
He won't listen.
We'll be back after these messages.
Hello, this is Dennis Nelson, inviting you to come with me through the doorway of imagination and into the theater of the mind. The Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour presents a play every Saturday night at 7 p.m. on Lone Star Internet Radio. Be it drama or comedy, thriller or love story, every exciting episode is carefully chosen straight from the golden age of radio and performed live by talented actors, musicians, and sound effects crew. Every sound you hear will be 100% live and homemade. Anything can happen. So join us, please, every Saturday night at 7 p.m. for the Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio.
Hi, I'm Joyce with the Corner Pub in downtown Conroe. We're located at the corner of Simonton and North Main, just across the street from the courthouse. The week starts off Monday with open mic hosted by Alan, and Tuesday nights open mic hosted by Jeremy Bankhead. And on Thursday evening, McFarland Jams. There's nightly drink specials available every night, all night. And don't forget, live entertainment every weekend. To see a full list of events, visit our website at thecornerpubinconroe.com. So come join us at the Corner Pub, where the deli is open late.
Hi, this is Judy Deo, Executive Director of Tamagua Healthcare Ministries. Tamagua is a Christian ministry that, by the grace of God and in response to the love of Jesus, provides quality health care, offers hope, and restores dignity to uninsured, low-income families and individuals in Northwest Harris County and Montgomery and Waller counties. As a primary care safety net clinic, we provide for the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs of our patients, and we do it only with the financial support of the community in which we serve. Tamagua receives no government funding. To find out how you can help or to make a donation, visit our website at www.tamagua.org. Tamagua is spelled Tomagwa. Thank you, and God bless you.
You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed on Lone Star Internet or Radio. We're back with me, Dick, of course, and everyone left. It's just me for the rest of the program. Tom got really upset with me, and he stormed out.
I stormed out.
That means
but I
he's
came
still
back.
here.
I'm just kidding. He's still here.
He turned me off again.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow.
He does that all the time.
I just put you.
I guess I'm going to pay him more money a month because I'm paying so much as it is.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm almost on the street just to be on this show.
Yeah, and Ansel get some photos of you.
That's true. That's good.
I'm just kidding with you. But yeah, you're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're talking about branding today. And then if you tune in and you're a huge fan of Ansel like I am. And no, I'm just kidding. I love y'all's faces. But Ansel, we were talking about him while he wasn't here, of course. And we were sitting there last episode with Tony. That was like a month ago.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of good ideas. And we're still kind of talking about branding and how to do it, and Ansel brought us something that was really interesting. I think, Ansel, if you could explain to us one of this little trick we were talking about when you go around taking photos of people, like you said, and you hand it to them. Mm-hmm. And the one I'm looking at has your logo on it, has your signature and Ansel Arnold Photography.
Right.
Now, immediately, because we're critiquing him now, cool. I have no way of contacting you through this.
Yeah.
So, which is not. I mean, I'm a smart man. I can type in Ansel Arnold Photography, and you pretty much come out number one because you're number one in my book. Oh. And
that is so nice.
This is great. But I do have a question about this particular photo. Who is the lady next to you? She's nice. Is that your sister? Please don't.
No, that's my lady friend. We were in Austin.
Lady friend.
Yeah.
Well, it's a really cool picture. You see reflection.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, who's this nice lady next to you? So it's nice you have a lady friend to take photos with.
Right.
Aw.
Was that taken subliminally? Does she know that she's in that photo?
But on this photo, I'm trying to describe it to these folks. Is that you hand these out to people who are? It's almost like a card. I would say.
Yeah, kind of. And it started because last week I was watching YouTube photos of this street photographer in Chicago, and he does a little more like crazy stuff. He goes down into like the projects, and he tries to document people, drug addicts and stuff like that.
Those are my favorite.
Wow.
And I mean, you have to have some balls to do that. Because
I agree.
I would not.
That's to the core.
I would not do that. But he was saying how having a print and having cards can really help you out. Where he was getting some people were asking him, hey, what are you doing down here? Get out! You're not supposed to be here. And he pulled out a print. He said, I'm a photographer. He showed him a card. So I'm going to get cards for these too. But, so that's why I haven't had any contact information. And this is the first time I had printed these out. I printed them out this morning.
Look good.
Thank you. Because I was going downtown and I'm like, hey, if this happens. And then this lady, I took her photo last week before the show. And I told her last week that if, that I would print it out and bring her one.
Yeah.
If I saw her again. So I saw her today before the show, and I brought her a print. But and so and one person in downtown, when I was down there, started kind of getting at me. What are you doing, and why you have your camera? I don't know, and taking pictures, I guess. But
don't want to come off as a smart,
right?
Smart, but. Almost said it,
but but and then and then I just pulled them out and said, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is my photography. Check it out. But I'm a photographer, so don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because looking what they obviously they can't see through.
Yeah, the radio.
The
yeah.
radio, yeah.
They can feel it though.
Yeah. Well, descriptive words.
Yes.
The lady here, she looks in this particular picture, she looks. It looks like a really real authentic shot of her.
Mhm.
She didn't. She's looking right into the camera. She's not smiling. She's just posing. But I would, it's funny when we do logos and stuff. Like for this gentleman, he saw the logo and he said, I see myself as bigger now. And it was a reflection. It was seeing something more of him than what he saw. Do they ever say, wow, I didn't know I looked like this? Or,
the lady seemed extremely happy, and it was pretty flattering. I mean, when I brought it to her, obviously, she's homeless, and so she was hanging out in front of the courthouse. And when she told me she wasn't sure if she was ever going to see me again.
Oh, wow.
But and I was happy to bring her one, of course, and she seemed really happy. She really liked the picture, and and it was nice just for someone like that to just make them happy with that.
Absolutely.
Just give them a print. It didn't cost me 5 minutes of my time to print it out at home. So it's nice. I posted a picture of her holding the print on my Facebook page.
Oh, that's cool.
Check
Ansel
it out.
Arnold Photography
That's cool.
Facebook.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really nice to do that. I mean, if I'm ever gonna run into any of these other people again, we'll see. Like this lady that had her back turned to me, and but
look at her position. What you can't see through the radio is that she has her hands on her hips, kind of like business-like or looking around, and she has this nice colorful jacket, and it looks very cool. But I would love to know what her projection is on that.
Yeah.
If you had Facebook, or what if you had followings on Facebook, printed a T-shirt of this on the back explaining your thoughts and all that, and maybe your followers purchase the T-shirt or purchase the print with explanation. It's so many. This is very interesting. The concept. I've never really. This is just awesome. Just straight off the cuff. I've never seen anybody do that in DC, and I think when it's different and interesting, you can get a quite a big following, especially after shows like this, and put you out and project you out.
Sure.
It comes back, especially that generosity.
I think they ought to have him on a hologram on a 10-foot building.
That's awesome.
10-story building, won't that work? Hologram?
Sure.
Right, Dick?
His hair has to kind of fly
wild hair.
But getting back, we're going to be closing up today's show, but talking about branding, I think this is a great way to sell your photography, and especially as your card. I mean, I don't know how much these cost to print, but
little to nothing.
So I think it's actually kind of an advantage, because most people will give you a calling card, but I think this, and like I said, the only thing I would add is maybe a website, but I mean, if you have one, or maybe a phone number underneath. And then I think that would get people to call to action to call you immediately, because some people don't know how to use the phone to access the web.
Right.
You'd be surprised how many people don't know what Google. They type in google.com, and then they get to Google, they type in google.com on the search engine. You ever seen people do that? I think it's great. But actually, it's really great.
And they don't get anywhere.
No, or they go to Yahoo. Yahoo's the homepage, and they go to the search bar and they type in google.com, and it's like, oh, okay. But no, this looks really good, and I think listening to the show last time, that's really what we were trying to do, is talk about how to really sell yourself, and this is definitely selling yourself. This is good.
Now, what if he had on selling this and going back to branding, had a launch page for each photo, and so. I was talking to Ross this week about penetration rate, and so when you do email blasts, you have a higher penetration rate than handing someone a card, and that's the only time that impression is going to get seen. So what if you had this lady with her hands on her hips.com, but it's a landing page for you to capture people's email address, so that when you do email blasts, they can see more and more of your work, and starting to try to build an engine of, because I tell you, she'll probably show her cousins, hey, this guy just off the street, he just showed this to me, such and such, but then you can see me online too. I'm right here, such and such.
Right.
I think people for one, never have been online before, maybe, and then for them to have a landing page or something of an online presence would tell everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Jesus healing a multitude, and they're like, "Hey, go see this guy. He just made my feet grow." But I think it's so many things you could do. Like even when we were talking about color, the cool classic look for this would be, oh, that's the music.
It's
great.
Over.
Oh, Jesus.
We're done.
It's already over. Can you believe it, guys?
Oh my gosh.
I feel like we talked about
It's a big letdown for me
everything
every
and
time.
nothing at the same time.
At the same time.
At the same time.
That's hard to do.
Yeah, you're listening to Lone Star Internet Radio. This is Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're here every Wednesday at 3 p.m. live. And, of course, we have our archives on YouTube and SoundCloud and also IrelandStar.com. You can find them there. Like us on Facebook. I want to thank our special guest, Tony King.
Hey.
Tony, we can find you at Minuteman Press of Conroe.
Absolutely.
And that's located on the...
West Loop 336.
Right there. You actually share... Give me some landmarks right
right
there.
next to Papa John's. We're right by West Force Bank and by the Sonic.
Yeah. And also, of course, Ansel Arnold Photography.
Awesome.
You're always welcome here, and hopefully we'll see you next week maybe if you're
Sure.
around.
I always make time for you.
And then
Yeah.
next week when Dr. Buchanan is here, we're going to have some semblance of normalcy and sanity.
Oh, we have a lady in the studio.
Oh.
Yeah, there's going to be a woman here. So your weird, off the cuff statements that don't go anywhere are going to have to be grounded at least for an hour.
Yeah, because she has PhDs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to show at least an IQ of 65 and above.
Oh, wow.
That's a stretch.
Okay. We'll be back.
Wow, you look at the face.
Dick he's not smiling at all. Talking about his...
Taking you down. There he goes. You're listening to Aperture and Shutter Speed. We're here, like I said, every Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Hey everyone, this is Tina, your host from Retro Saturdays. I wanted to invite you to visit the Lone Star Studios here in downtown Conroe, Texas. We're all volunteers here, and we need your help in serving the Montgomery County area. Radio media is a fun field to be in. Lone Star Internet Radio serves Montgomery County with news, current events, local programming, and of course, music. If you are interested in volunteering and sharing your talents in media, go to irlonestar.com and let us hear from you. Lone Star Internet Radio, serving Montgomery County from the heart of downtown Conroe.